That is impressive.
But we are going to come up with your last game of the night. It's going to be Rest versus zSWY coming up shortly. I've been the Spectre. Joining me, Project Swift, and we'll be going into our next game much straight away, I believe.
Excellent. I think you are possibly going to have to message me the password.
Yes, I don't actually have it just yet as well, so...
Okay.
So, of course, thank you to our viewers in the Twitch channel. Of course, all of my links are on the side there. You can also check out the great Australian guild, which, of course, is Dota is Hard. You can join up in the chat. It is just Dota is Hard, and you can ask someone to add you into the guild, which I'm actually going to right now for this lovely man asking for it.
Of course, but yes, if I'm free to do a quick plug for Dota is Hard, fantastic community. We've been going since January this year. We've focused a lot on teaching and training newer players. So people who come into this very difficult game, you can come along to Dota is Hard. We do a number of casted in-house matches for the community to try and build their skills. They can go back and then watch the games and find out where people think they've gone wrong. So if you notice the way that I was casting, I'm trying to go back on the action and sort of analyze what has happened and why people have done that sort of thing. That's the sort of casting that we do in the community, and a lot of people really love it. Everybody is really polite, and it's a fantastic community. Check us out on in Facebook, search Dota is Hard, you'll be able to find us. There's also a Steam group if you want to check that out. That has all the details for joining the group and how you can get involved.
Alright, that is the password, buddy.
Excellent.
Alrighty, so we have Swift in the lobby.
Excellent, I'm in.
And I've got to say, Sydney weather right now, what the hell is going on?
I'm going to say I can't really help you out with that at all. I'm up in the lovely sunny Brisbane. It's fantastic.
Damn you, it's been like the most humid day ever here. I'm just sweating myself to death.
No, we've actually, like, the past 3 weeks in Brisbane has been really weird. It's just been rain one day or rain in the afternoon, completely sunny, humid the morning or the next day. It's just been on and off and all around, up and down. So I think, gladly, you guys have taken our weather. Aha.
Damn you! Damn you, Swift. We are going to go into our last game of the night. This is Rest versus zSWY.
I'm unfamiliar with these teams, so if you can give me some heads up for who to watch and what sort of things will be going on, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, I've never played against either of these teams in tournaments that I can remember, so I'll be new to their players and I'll be interested to watch.
Alright, so welcome everybody. This is the Australian Esports League, your quarterfinals night here. We will be holding games all throughout the week. I believe there are 3 games on tomorrow night as well. I am the Spectre. Joining me is Project Swift of Dota is Hard, and we have Rest versus zSWY. And zSWY actually the kind of surprise come through of these group stages, knocking out Can't Say Whips. Of course, the team headed by Godot, along with some notable players, Slicks, the recent convert from Hon, a great mid player who was recently a DreamHack, in fact, for Hon. And on the other side, on Rest, we have our very own Ozcasters, Tonders, and the Evil Twig, with their extremely exciting mid player Miggles. If he gets his hands on a puck,
10 seconds to go.
I'm looking forward to a good game.
Okay, fantastic. You've given them a good rap, and I am now super interested to watch this game. The bans on the Dire team have gone the standard sort of Elder Titan Lich bans, with the Hose Over Bros. So I don't think that's their real name, the real team name, I'm guessing.
Well, I don't know. The tag up the top said zSWY, so I'm not sure if it's just kind of an alternate moniker or if it is Hose Over Bros. So, but I don't know. They ban out the Timbersaw and the Puck, so Miguel's they've scouted out this team well. They know what Miguel's is like with that Puck, and it gets banned out straight away, along with Timbersaw, who's just so lauded for his massive mobility and pure damage burst. And we see an Alchemist and Crystal Maiden first picks from these teams, and Alchemist has been played in a lot of roles recently. He's either kind of seen as a tri-lane support, a mid laner, or even the carry. So I think recently he's kind of had the most success as a mid laner, but really, for me at least, Alchemist seems like he's just fallen flat in this meta, in this new patch as well.
10 seconds to go.
The change to his ultimate is really interesting. It's a nerf late game, because you don't get that that huge amount of bonus health and the same base attack time. I think I can't remember what they changed in the attack time.
I think the base attack time's the same, but it was the base attack time's the same. It's just that instead of having the bonus HP, it's just gone straight into no bonus HP at all, and just an increase in the regen you get. And of course, the regen is useful late game. It's not, pointless, of course, but if you are running him as a carry, you're more than likely you have up a heart or something similar to that. So having a flat number late game isn't as good as kind of a percentage.
10 seconds to go.
I think because of that change, if you do go carry Alchemist, I think one of the best items you can ever pick up is an armlet. It basically covers the change to your ultimate and has everything that Alchemist needs. It gives him armor, which Alchemist is sorely lacking. It gives him attack speed, which he loves when he's got that ultimate form up. And it gives him that bonus HP when he activates the armlet, of course, that he's missing from the ultimate. And the bonus regen that the ultimate was given counteracts the drain from the armlet. So it's basically a no-loss item in the hands of Alchemist.
It is pretty perfect. But yes, as I was quickly saying, the change to Chemical Rage actually makes him worse in the late game, but it does make him better. It is better at level 6. So I have been seeing Alchemist played as support a lot because of that reason.
Yeah, exactly. Because the big thing about it is it's basically a mini heart, and having a mini heart at level 6 is insane. You can jump in, throw out a stun, take a lot of harass maybe from the Crystal Maiden and Visage. If they fail to kill you, you can just run back, maybe fog them for a moment with that ultimate up, and you've regened half your health. You're almost back at full health, and it makes chasing such a dangerous task, because then Alchemist can throw out another stun. Maybe his teammates have shown up now, and because he's almost full health, you're in deep trouble. So I think with the change for at least for me, the change to the ultimate basically obliterated Alchemist as a carry, or at least made it a lot harder to run him as a carry, and made him much better as a support / mid laner.
Reserve time.
If he is going to be played as a carry, he definitely needs uninterrupted farm. He can still snowball very well, but if he's on par with another carry, the other carry is going to win. He's so difficult to go toe-to-toe with people in the late game now. But continuing on with the other heroes, the Dire team have picked up a Pugna, which I really love with the first pick of the Crystal Maiden. I think a counter pick of Pugna is fantastic. And with the Alchemist, I think they might be going for some decent early game push, maybe.
Yeah, they definitely have the Acid Spray plus Blast. I mean, you can really stop people from defending towers just by throwing that Acid Spray behind the lines. Having the Pugna ward back there as well, it's really, really hard to kind of push the wave back with nukes because you get instantly ward zapped. And if you try and go up and right click, you're getting hit down by Acid Spray. And now a Keeper of the Light, Hose Over Bros, zSWY, going really strong into this push and counter push. But I'm starting to think maybe they're investing a little bit too much into it. But It does also make an extremely scary tri-lane, because that Chakra Magic is going to keep that Pugna and Alchemist at full mana all the time.
If that is what they're going for, depending on their next 2 picks,
10 seconds to go.
I feel that the Dire team, Hose Over Bros, have really shown their hand a bit early.
Seconds.
If they're just going to go like flat out and just pick up like, I don't know, Shadow Shaman
Reserve
and
time.
Phantom Lancer or something like that, and just go brutal push, then yeah, you're just going to show your hand at any point after you pick your 3rd hero. But if they like pick up some counter-initiating heroes, some team fight heroes to maybe protect these 3 as they're doing some push, it would have been quite possible that they picked these 2 heroes up first and not just reveal their hands straight away. So Rest on the Radiant team they're thinking about it. They've seen what's come up and they're thinking about it. They're taking up a fair bit of some amount of their bonus time. So they want to really think this through.
Yeah, I think one thing that kind of has hurt them a little bit is the ban out of the Venomancer. He's kind of one of the best early game counter pushes with those wards, because that Acid Spray, that Pugna Blast, that Keeper of the Light Illuminate does absolutely nothing to wards. He's one of the best counter pushes purely because of that reason. If you want to get rid of wards, you have to right click them down. But it looks like Rest knows that zSWY are gonna go heavy into this push, and they pick up a Weaver. He's great for split pushing. You might be able to, trade a tower. Probably not very early on in the game, because the damage coming out from zSWY will be way too much, but you can have Weaver just on the other side of the match, farming up solo, trying to get levels, trying to get gold, and if you hold out zSWY for long enough, that Weaver is going to completely overrun their team.
Yeah, right now the Weaver, like, if Hose Over Bros are going that straight up push, Weaver, I feel, doesn't even need any defensive items. He can go straight, maybe Phase Boots or Tread, straight into that Desolator and just remain on the other side of the map. Like the Keeper of Light, the Pugna, the Alchemist, they aren't really going to be able to jump on the Weaver. They're not really going to be able to catch him out. So Weaver's in not too much trouble as long as he doesn't get in team fights. If he is going to go into team fights, he will need a Black King bar.
He definitely will. There's just so much AoE damage coming out from here, and the AoE disables coming out from an Invoker. If he drops down a Meatball and a Deafening Blast in one of these fights, that Weaver is in a lot of trouble. If an Illuminate and a Blast comes over on the top, that's basically an instant kill on any one of these rest heroes. So they're going to need to be extremely careful with their position.
That is a potential one-hitting of their team, basically. If, like, the Invoker goes the standard combo and manages to, like, Tornado with the Tinker 3 or 4 of these heroes, follow it up with the Deafening Blast, Meatball, Illuminate, Blast, that's a dead team. That is a team wipe straight out. So Rest, with the threat of that combo, are going to have to be really on the ball with their positioning and try and not stack up in that line and get caught out by that Invoker's Tornado.
Yeah, they definitely do need to be extremely careful. The pickup of Tinker,
10 seconds to go.
They're gonna basically hope that March of the Machines can come online, the Boots of Travel can come online quickly enough for Tinker to just be able to push out these lanes, and I think it's a bit of a mistake in my mind for zSWY to let this Tinker go through. If they're going to invest so much into push with the Pugna, Coddle, and Alchemist, we're saying they are, but maybe they're not, but Pugna, strictly speaking, is a pure early game push hero. It's a bit foolish to let a Tinker through. I know whenever at least my team runs a push strat, Tinker is basically the #1 hero that we want to ban out, because we've known from too many horrible experiences that March of the Machines is just one of the hardest things to fight into. The only thing you can really do is maybe aim for either mass BKB, either mass BKBs, mass Blade Mails, or mass Necro Books, because of course, if Tinker throws out a March and you leave those Necro Books in there and they die, Tinker gets smashed by that pure damage return. And zSWY definitely going for some push, picking up Lycan, one of the kind of forgotten heroes of the massive push. We don't see him picked up with any heroes like the Enigma.
10 seconds to go.
The only hero that can make real use of this Howl is going to be the Invoker with his Forge Spirits, but I'm going to go ahead and say that Pugna is going to be basically rushing a Necro Book, Lycan's going to be rushing a Necro Book, and in fact, I think a lot of zSWY are just going to go hit the books.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they just go straight up books all around. That Howl, of course, for those of you who don't know, Howl adds that minion bonus damage onto all your allied minions. So that's a bonus 20 damage to all your Necro Books. And
that was
scary.
recently buffed as well. It used to be 15 damage, I believe, so it was increased quite a bit for the minions. The hero damage has remained basically the same. Yeah, that's right, it was only the 4 damage. But also Lycan gaining an extra 5 bonus damage and 1 armor, so slightly easier to lane him now. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of build this Lycan goes for. The jungle build Lycan is usually kind of forgone nowadays. He'll usually go to lane for a while, still build into Wolves and Feral Spirit, or maybe Wolves and Howl, and then hit the jungle later on at about, level 5 to 7 and get up that farm. But let's introduce the teams first. On the side of Rest, we have Tondas on the Crystal Maiden. Mirana, the final pick, will be taken up by Explosive Fury. On the Weaver, we have the Evil Twig. Tinker will be played by Miggles, and Visage being played by Lethal.
While on the Dire team, we've got Jenny, who's going to be playing the Invoker going solo mid. If you noticed the chat before, Jenny did just state that this is his first tournament, or her first tournament. So, best of luck. We've got Yes, I Am zSWY on the Lycan. I Meteor on the Keeper of the Light.
The game
Why God is going to be playing the Alchemist, and Mose is on the Pugna.
Let's just call him Moss.
Moss.
Okay, I'm kind of disappointed that iMeteor isn't playing the Invoker.
Oh, I really, really wish that it was that way. But yes, this tri-lane that you, they straight up picked this tri-lane. Alchemist into the Pugna, into the Keeper. That is horrifying. And they're going up against a solo Weaver. Weaver is going to get... That tower is gone. That tier 1 tower on the safe lane, it's gone. I give it a 5-minute clock.
And we're actually going to see a Sentry Ward placed in the Ancient straight off the bat for zSWY. They really don't want this Tinker getting anything at all in this lane. Usually if you're playing that Tinker in mid lane, you'll take down the lane, get some last hits, and then go stack Ancients. And he's not going to be able to for the first couple of minutes. In fact, 4 minutes now, 3 minutes rather, because of that new ward. No, it is 4 minutes, because of that new Sentry Ward timing. So, a nice little block up. Meanwhile, in the top, Lethal is just harassing down the Lycan. He knows he's solo in this lane, and he feels confident just sitting here with his ranged attacks and keeping him away from the wave. But now with the Wolves, he needs to be a tiny bit more careful.
They're sort of trading on and off. They're going all in with these. Both teams are going all in with their lanes. I mean, with the Ancients block, this Tinker I feel is going to have a rough time up against this Invoker. The Invoker has actually gone Quace, Exort as his first 2 abilities. Has opted to not pick up Invoke, but as soon as the Invoker does get that the Forge Spirits and that Cold Snap up, this Tinker's going to have a rough time in the lane. Meanwhile, on the top lane, the Lycan's been completely pushed out. He's not even trying this lane anymore. He's moved straight into the jungle.
And he's just
this
tanking
Weaver
up the damage with his hero. He's actually dropping very low to the crits of these Wolves. Needs to be careful because Visage is starting to rotate in from the top. He doesn't have boots. This might be our first blood here. Lethal catches him out. He's got the Grave Chill. Maybe he survives because of uphill miss. The Wolves get thrown out, but the rockets from Tinker, that's probably just a little bit less than the worst thing that could happen. Miguel didn't actually get the last hit, so no first blood gold going to mid, but your solo safe lane Lycan getting killed off in the jungle by a Visage, so it's not something that you want happening, and Tinker does of course still get assist gold for that, so he's got his bottle on the way, plus another 173 gold in his pocket.
That is heinous. That is so disastrous for Hose Over Bros, was their name?
You know
Yes. And that's like with the Mirana and the Visage in this top lane, this Lycan is going to have the hardest time, especially with that death. But I doubt that he'll be rotating back into the jungle after he gets maybe a few more levels. He's going to have a rough time.
And Miguel's surprisingly actually going 2 points into Rockets and 2 points into Laser. So we're not going to be seeing a high level March of the Machines. And, you know, he might be angling for the fact that the tri-lane won't basically come online soon enough. They've done only about 150 damage to this bottom tower. And that's not where you want to be as a tri-lane. I mean, right now, they have this wave pushed out, you know, about halfway between the towers. And this is basically where zSWY need to be taking something like, you know, a 4 to 6 minute tower, and they're just not doing enough damage, I think.
Yeah, this 5 minute clock on the tower is actually looking pretty good for Rest. The Coddle standing off on the side doing those illuminates, Pugna's throwing out those blasts, but until Coddle ticks over to level 3, which he just
Jenny's going to be in a lot of trouble in mid lane. Miggle's got the rockets and laser, he throws it out, and that's an easy kill for Miggles, and that's what happens when you got 3 points laser rocket. Invoker just staying too long in that mid lane, and the burst from Tinker too much.
Wow, that's really interesting. He's opted to go straight up laser rocket against this team that, like, they know is just going straight up push.
He's also picked up a haste rune. It's very dangerous in this bottom lane. The Alchemist stun is not going to be able to catch him unless they seriously misstep. And he's going to be able to run in with a haste rune because of that. He's completely stunned out. This has got to be a kill for Miggles here. He throws out the laser, throws out the rockets, and that's an easy kill. And it's basically what I was trying to say before. Going this laser rockets build, he's banking on the fact that this tri-lane is not going to come online in time. And that lane has 3 squishy heroes. It's a Pugna, a Coddle, and I guess the kind of strongest of them all is an Alchemist. And against the pure damage of a laser, he's not that tanky. It does 320 damage. That's almost half of his life points at this level.
This Tinker would be cheering with that gank. Oh, there's a courier just flying in, taking a few hits from the siege creep. That was a bit strange. The courier, the Dire's courier, just flying straight into the mid lane. But
bit of miss micro maybe there from Jenny. Box selecting the courier when it was in base, perhaps.
Must have been. But yes, the Tinker would have been cheering with that gank. I mean, like, the Alchemist did half the work for him, so...
Yeah, just stunning himself, the ability to see that was quite good. Wygod actually might be looking for a kill, but Jenny in a lot of trouble. Tondas comes through, but they're unable to pick him up. The QQ walk comes out too fast. Tondas might be in a bit of trouble now. He's dropped down below half, but just salves up, and Wygod's spending a lot of time in this mid lane and not really achieving much, and this leaves the bottom lane as only the Pugna as well as the Keeper of the Light, and Evil Twig's kind of having the time of his life here. He knows that they can't really take him down unless he missteps and runs into both the wave and the blast, and he's doing a decent job of farming up now. He's starting to catch up in the CS.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
Just a quick note, if you don't mind me, just putting in a bit of like the Dottie is hard teaching thing.
Meanwhile, on top, zSWY, sorry, getting stunned out, gets hit by the Starfall as well. He's trying to get stuck in here, but the nice TP in. Explosive Fury, you just hit him. What are you doing, guys? Oh, he's under Moonlight Shadow, but he gets revealed at the last second. But Miguel's grabbing another solo kill in the mid lane. He's now on a killing spree, and he's so close to those boots of travel. And on bottom as well, Evil Twig getting a kill on the Pugna, and able just to run away. They basically trade 1 for 2 there. Lycan lucky to escape with his life, but, you know, Mirana almost grabbing that kill. The Moonlight Shadow setting up 2 kills in the other side of the map, so just some crazy happenings on this map. But as you were saying before.
Quick comment there, like that Sunstrike in that fight from the Invoker was excellent, but Miguel's was straight on top of that. As soon as he knew that the Invoker was looking at top lane, just jumped straight in and shredded him while the Invoker was just sort of like standing there auto-attacking creeps while looking for that Sunstrike. So that was a bit of a miss micro from the Invoker. Generally, you got to walk back to the tower if you're looking at other lanes. I feel that this is something that I can comment on, that like Invoker is one of my favorite heroes, and the Invoker's skill build is a little up and down.
We're gonna have a cold
Good effort,
snap.
just missed that
The Sunstrike just missed. They were going for kind of the cold snap wolf combo because so many right clicks can come out. All of the rockets going to Lycan, none going to Jenny. Unfortunately for Miguel, he must have kind of fogged at the last second, almost grabbing a kill there, but... Yeah, at the moment, he's going straight for the Forge Spirits, but... At the moment, he's got a 3-1-2 build, so early access into that Deafening Blast and kind of the whole myriad of spells, but generally not the strongest early game build.
Generally in your early game as Invoker, I don't know, it's a bit questionable either way, but I feel that generally you want to put 3 points into Quace or Exort without, like, straight away as soon as possible. To get, like, the most bonus out of one of those early game skills, which is either Cold Snap or Sunstrike. And it sort of depends on your lane and how you're going to be playing it. But changing it up sort of... It limits your potential in the really early game, which is when a lot of other heroes are going to snowball over the top of you.
And again, the Courier just kind of sitting in that mid lane, but yeah, I do agree with you there. Tinker now with his boots of travel up at the 9-minute mark. He's got max laser. He's got max rockets. The Dire should have seen that Moonlight Shadow, but it may have been defensive in that top lane. Lethal had taken quite a lot of damage. Evil Twig also dropping low, but he's going to be able to grab a bit of gold from killing off that ward. And since the supports have rotated, this Weaver has completely eclipsed the Pugna. He was sitting at 17 last hits a second ago, now sitting at 37. Our second highest farmer in the game, Explosive Fury, taking that cake, sitting at 56 and 6.
Now, this is something that I don't normally condone on a Tinker, but I really think that if Tinker went a Dagon this game, he could kill anyone. He could just teleport
Fury
into a lane.
Might be in trouble here. The Wolves getting very aggressive, but we're going to see a Boots of Travel onto a Visage Familiar. The rockets come out, but it's just kind of a ward back. Explosive Fury has taken far too much damage right now, sitting at about half health. Wygod doesn't have the mana to throw out stun just yet. Miguel's throwing out a laser just to get a last hit on a creep, making the most of all of his skills, all of his farm. Weaver going on Moss at the bottom lane. He uses the Decrepify on himself, but it's going to run in just a second. Evil Twig needs to come in here, maybe time-lapse out just to save his damage. No, doesn't decide to use it, but still picking up that kill on the Pugna. They can't leave this Pugna alone against Weaver anymore. Meanwhile, top lane, we're going to see Miguel's come in. In fact, he boots the travels to a Visage Familiar while he's over the tree. So he's just kind of... he's stuck there because he doesn't have mana to rearm.
Dire's bottom tower
to get out. He's hopefully flying a Soul Ring out to him now, but he's rearmed but doesn't have the mana out. And he needs to be careful not to reveal himself. We're going to have the range creep hitting on him. This could be a free kill if they've got the heroes here, but they just don't have the presence right now, and Tondas doesn't have any way to cut him out. It doesn't look like any of the heroes have a way to get Miggles out of these creeps right now. But
this
he does.
Your pseudo blink.
He does have the mana, so he'll be TPing back now. Just an unfortunate little bit of timing on that Visage Familiar. Explosive Fury does pick up the tower at top, and I gotta say, Rest are just smashing down zSWY right now. They're sitting well ahead in gold. They're around 5k ahead at the 11.5 minute mark, as well as XP being around 5k in their favor. And this is not where you want to be as a pushing lineup. You want to be taking the advantage well into the kind of, 20-minute mark. In fact, you should be pushing tier 3s by that 20-minute mark with the kind of lineup they've aimed for. And unfortunately for them, they've waited too long. The laser rocket kind of build coming out from Miggles here has opened up so many gank opportunities, and now he's starting to build up those March of the Machines. So with this push-heavy lineup for zSWY, I think they've just put too many eggs into the one basket.
Yeah, with Rest has really been able to get off, like, a lot. Oh, that is beautiful. The Familiar, did you see the Familiar teleport gank?
Yep.
So the Familiar's, sitting over the trees, and then flies in as the Tinker is teleporting to them. It is beautiful, and that is going to open up a lot of pick-off opportunities on this.
Jenny in a lot of trouble in the bottom lane, uses the QQ walk, so has no way to get in here. Evil Twig, in fact, no, Jenny attacks. Evil Twig is going to dive in for this. He's come through 2 right clicks. It's not enough. Evil Twig needs to time-lapse. He does get out of there in time. Jenny living by a thread,
Dire's
basically.
mid-tower's nothing now.
We might have
Invoker's
a rotation
gonna
in here.
fight.
Alchemist goes straight into Tondas, gets a good stun off. The Acid Spray might drop him down. The Moonlight Shadow coming through. It's going to save Tondas just for now. The stun thrown out just in time. WYGOD has to back out, and that Crystal Maiden just survives. Meanwhile, Boka getting a kill on the Weaver in bottom lane.
Weaver dived in after the Invoker. Invoker's sitting on about the life he was on now, but just cold snapped the Weaver as he ran straight in, and just Weaver copped a whole heap of mini stuns under the tower, just died off. Weaver was only on about 250 life as he dived in, so getting a bit greedy and yeah, copped it.
Without that time lapse available, it's very risky to try and dive an Invoker under tower, especially when he has that cold snap available. And I think zSWY, if they want to stand a chance at getting back into this game, they really need to start abusing this jungle a lot more than they have been. They need to stack up these camps, and they need to take them down with the Pugner and Keeper of the Light. You've got two heroes there that can really, really easily take down stacks, and I don't think they're making the full efficiency out of this jungle right now. I mean, Lycan does have a Vlad's. They may be able to take the Roshan down if it's not scouted out by familiars, but we might see a familiar gank here in the bottom lane. Speaking of familiars, and Tinker also picking up his 14-minute blink. Jenny gets stunned out, the familiar stun comes through, and that's a nice kill going towards the Weaver. Miguel's also TPing in, doing a lot of damage to WYGOD, but as we were saying before, that ultimate, look at his health just climb back up.
Zwing! But yes, the Invoker got nuked down even before the Tinker was able to get into that fight, so this is... zSWY need to make something happen. I mean, they've got the push lineup. They don't really have a hard carry.
Evil Twig might get caught out here. No, uses the time lapse to get out. And we're going to have Alchemist stunning himself in the backlines here. The arrow's going to come out, but it's going to miss. The Visage Familiar is doing so much damage, and it's an easy cleanup kill for Weaver. Miguel's being very aggressive, maybe looking to blink forward here. Needs to be very mindful of that Pugner ward, though. And does just blink backwards. They will be able to grab this T1 tower at bottom. And I don't think they stop there. They still have a lot of mana on all of their supports. They still have basically full health. And I think that they can just go on and take this tier 2 bottom.
One last top tower for the Radiant.
In the meantime, the Lycan did manage to pick up the tier 1 tower, and he has ultimate. He has ulted and going in after the Tinker, but Tinker's Blink Dagger's coming back up, and with the ultimate running out on the Lycan, he opts to turn around and run away. Doesn't really want to take on that Tinker without his ultimate, which is a smart choice.
And I think that Lycan, and in fact the whole zSWY team, need to start prepping that Roshan. We already have Rest scouting it out. They've put a sentry ward down as well as an Ob, so they're going to have vision if the Dire do decide to go into this Roshan pit. And Lycan, you know, kind of one of the best heroes for taking down this Rosh, but I'm not sure if they'll be able to go into that kind of confined space. If Tinker comes through, TPs to a Visage Familiar, he can just blink onto this high ground, sit up here, throw out much of the machines and harass with rockets, and there won't be too much that zSWY can do.
Haste!
Even if it's scouted out with familiars, the Tinker doesn't need to stand anywhere nearby. He can stand ages away and just rocket, refresh, and just harass them out of the Roshan pit that way. And he can do that completely safely. But if they do go for Roshan, if zSWY do go for Roshan and they are scouted out, Rest aren't going to stop there. They're going to charge straight into the Roshan pit and kill everyone on that team. They are far ahead right now, and they know it.
It's a very, very scary place to be if you're zSWY. We have supports basically afraid to leave their T2 towers. The Wolves did scout out some rotation in this area, as well as the ward being there, so just zSWY being forced to be extremely cautious, and we see Lycan picking up a medallion. It looks like the Dire are really intent on trying to take this Roshan down soon.
They want to get him down. They do need to do something to get themselves back in the game. They're like, Rest have the carry. They can farm. zSWY don't really have that farming potential. Like, they have the Invoker and the Lycan, but it's nothing compared to what Rest have on their team with the Mirana, the Weaver, and the Tinker. Those heroes are much more scary with farm. So zSWY need to make things happen. They need to start taking towers, and they need to win this game.
Yeah, I've got to really agree with you there. I mean, they've got this push lineup and they're failing to take towers. iMeteor is going to send a blast mid. It's going to do a lot of damage here. In fact, it actually misses both Lethal and Explosive Fury. Very unfortunate there, but I completely agree with you. Rest has the carry late game, and right now they're leading in a big way in gold on all of their cores. Tinker, the top farmer, followed by Weaver, and then Marana. zSWY are looking in a bad spot right now. If we take a look at the experience graph, it's around 7,500 in favor of Rest, as well as being around 8,000 gold in their favor. So,
oh look at the bottom lane. Lycan's in their jungle, and I think he missed the courier. The courier was running through, and it was in sight range, but I don't think he saw it.
And that's it's a costly mistake. Well, not really a mistake, but it's a lucky kind of happenstance if it happens. So, I mean, Evil Twig has got his Lincolns now. If Lycan had managed to pick up that courier, not only does the 175 gold help his team out so much, having a Lincoln Sphere denied from a Weaver for the next kind of 3 to 5 minutes is big. Meanwhile, a gank coming out. Lycan throws out the ult, but he's caught here for the moment. The double Starfall is going to hit. So much damage is going to come out. Great familiar stuns as well. And that's a kill picked up on the carry for Rest.
That was an excellent arrow from Explosive Fury. That was a full 5-second stun on the Lycan when he had his ultimate up. That was a huge kill. That was a huge arrow. Fantastic.
And as you called it before, Tinker's actually gone for the Dagon. So he does have level 1 Dagon up and running right now. And Rest are going to be the ones to take the Roshan. They have the Medallion up on the Visage. And while he's not dropping down the fastest, he is going down. And zSWY are none the wiser. They don't have any vision of the pit. And they really need to take this out now.
Radiant put rolls down quick and clean.
That is a big loss for zSWY. The Lycan has that Vladimir's and has that Medallion. He would have been looking at Roshan, and I feel like the Lycan jungling in the Radiant jungle might have been like some, I don't know, sneaky ploy to try and go into Roshan from a different direction. I'm not sure. Could have just been farming because his own jungle is too dangerous. But with those items, they would have been looking at Roshan, and great play by Rest, picking it up as soon as the Lycan was down.
Yeah, exactly. Great kind of game sense and presence of mind there
Radiant's
from Rest.
bottom towers seem better
and
days.
We have the Marana picking up the Mantis style now. Tinker 2 is building his Dagon. He's got a level 2 Dagon ready to go. And basically now, if he sees anyone on the map, he's just going to jump them and try and take them down. In fact, Lycan might be in a lot of trouble here. The smoke gets revealed, Tondas knows he's in the area, the ultimate gets popped off, and he can't get in range. The Visage Familiars get thrown out. One put down as a stun on the ramp to take him out, but it's not going to quite max. The arrow is coming forward, but it's going to run out before it gets anywhere, and Lycan just going to the jungle inside the Radiant base, and he needs to get back soon, because this zSWY tier 2 tower on bottom
Guess what's happening to Dire's
they need to
tower.
defend this.
If zSWY are losing any more towers without trade, it's going to be bad. And it looks like they're going to. There's nothing the supports that can do to defend it. They're all backing off, and that tower goes down easily. That is a free tower. Tinker teleports straight mid. The Lycan was pushing that mid lane, looking to try and trade that mid tower. Tinker just teleported straight in and just shut that push down straight away.
Yeah, Tinker just doing work. Miguel showing that he's not just a one-puck man, showing his prowess on the Tinker, now has Dagon 3, pushing all of these waves out, not going for the Scythe build. He doesn't need disables, he just needs killing power. And he's definitely going for it. Weaver has 1.5k in the bank, does have the Lincolns. We'll probably see an offensive item here. More than likely the Desolator, just to do some more damage to these towers. And Marana throwing in an arrow, it's just gonna miss.
I don't know what zSWY can do here. The Invoker's gone to Midas to try and catch himself back up at a few levels, but the Tinker's level 15. The Invoker has caught up to level 12, but it's just not enough. And with the super high mobility of Rest, they can just jump around and just dodge all these skill shot skills that like the big AoE abilities that zSWY are going to throw out on this push. Big Illuminate coming out, and see, they all just run away. No damage was taken by their team.
And then Miguel's just goes back to base, nukes down a wave, TP's back home, rinse and repeat. Miguel's is just playing the game excellently, and you saw the counter push there. Moss throwing out the level 3 blast. In fact, he just started leveling up that nether ward, changing his build up a bit. Jenny trying to invoke that meteor to have a bit of counter push in. Brest know that they're investing everything into that mid tower, and with the mobility, as you were saying before, just go top and they look to push down this tier 2 for absolute free. And Rest is just kind of running circles around their opponents right now.
Tower.
That is another tower gone down. That's another free tower. There was no effort to defend. The zSWY, again, looking at getting this mid tower. But Tinker just teleports in, shuts down the push, and then all the other heroes...
might catch the courier here. He gets it in the mid lane. Takes a lot of damage, but the right clicks were just enough. That's a costly loss. Evil Twig's going to get stunned out under the tower. The big arrow coming in. Takes out Jenny with the Soul Assumption. Right clicks on Wygod. Miguel's on a killing spree, killing off Pugner, and this is not looking good for zSWY. They had an extremely early game tower-oriented team, and they've only taken the single T1 tower on the map.
And it wasn't even on their tri-lane, unfortunately. That was the Lycan taking it down quickly as like a trade for another tower. So it's...
The Dire couldn't hang on to that mid tower.
Like, ups to zSW, they can defend their base. It is going to be, unless like Rest
Tinker goes into the enemy base, throws out the Dagon laser rocket and just blinks out, picks up a kill for free. They can't even be safe in their own base right now.
Okay, I completely take back everything that I just said. I was like, well, zSWY are going to be able to defend their base because Rest don't really have any base-breaking heroes except the Weaver once he gets that Desolator. But then Miguel just
there we go, he does it again.
Alright, stop making a mockery out of me, Miguel. I get it. I was wrong. Oh.
Miguel's calling out Swift in the biggest way you can. Dagon slams across the map. And that is a Dagon level 3. He's almost got the money to make it a 4, just a couple more gold. And he's also actually gone for a Mystic Staff, so he could have had the Dagon 5 by now, but it looks like he's either going to build into a Shivas for more burst and a bit of help in the team fights, or he can go into a Scythe and he can just permahex someone up. In fact, he does go back for the Dagon level 4. The Aegis will be reclaimed in 3 seconds, so maybe Rest slightly mistiming their push, but they do have Premier kind of positioning for this next Roshan. Alchemist stuns himself. Maybe Miguel's thinking of going in, but no, he's just going to go back. And I think the big problem for zSWY is even if they manage to take a team fight, unless they kill the Tinker a couple of times, or he doesn't have buyback, there's no way that they can push a tower. If you look at the items for the zSWY, the only kind of Tinker defenses, the 3 main ones kind of being BKB, Blade Mail, like mass Blade Mails or mass Necro Books, the only thing you see is a level 1 Necro Book on Lycan, and that's not enough. Miguel's actually going to get stunned out here on the top lane. The Sunstrike going to come through as well. Does hit on him. The Moonlight Shadow comes out, but we're going to have a Deafening Blast hit him. Excellent shot by Jenny there, and Miguel's just being a bit too cocky there. Wygod was waiting in.
They were ready for it. They knew it was coming. But yeah, being just caught by the tip of that Deafening Blast. Miguel's might be kicking himself. I do praise his purchase of the Mystic Staff. If you noticed him in fights, pretty much his whole combo of teleport in, blink, dagon, laser, missile, march, refresh, teleport out was taking up all his mana. That was his entire mana pool. So I'm pretty sure he literally just bought the Mystic Staff for extra mana.
Just grabbing that mana pool item up as soon as he could. Who needs Dagon 5 when you can't support it?
Yeah,
if you've noticed, he's also been grabbing like creeps in the middle of fights as well, just lasering or dagoning a creep in the wave just to push it out a little bit faster. And it's kind of the difference you see between okay Tinker players and good Tinker players. Explosive Fury's going to throw out a stun. It hits on Lycan, even in the middle of all of those wolves. Explosive Fury, though, eating a big Sunstrike to the face. Tondas is looking for this guy. They don't have the familiars to take him down, but no, Lethal gets the kill with the right click with some help from the Dagon of Miguel's.
That Mirana, I bet she's glad she invested in phase boots in this game. She was blocked in there by the Visage after that massive Sunstrike was taking a wailing from those wolves. Only got away because of those phase boots.
Right now, Jenny might be in trouble here, showing himself to the creep wave, and he's got almost 4k gold. I think he needs to spend it soon, because as soon as Tinker comes in, he just forces himself back, then gets forced by his teammate as well. They're really afraid of this Tinker.
I would be afraid of this Tinker. This Tinker is a force to be reckoned with. He's so far ahead. He's 7k gold, almost double the next Dire player's net worth, with the Invoker on 9k and then the Tinker on 16k. That is a huge difference. And the Invoker isn't really worth 9k because he's got 4k sitting in his bank. He needs to spend this. He needs to get phase boots, drums, anything, Aghanims.
A Yule Scepter.
He can't save this gold. Saving this gold is hurting his team. He needs to get something, and he needs to put some of this net worth into trying and stopping the Rangers team just running circles around them.
I mean, right now he even has the cash to straight out buy an Aghanim Scepter, and I think that's might be what he needs to do. Just get those quick invokes, get all of the kind of lockdown that you can get in these team fights. But he doesn't even have upgraded boots right now, so a bit odd. And he does pick up the point booster there. He's got 3.3k gold, and there we have it. The straight buy of the Aghanim Scepter. So now we finally do have that kind of, as you were saying, all of the net worth converted into actual items on this Invoker.
Okay, so they will be able to... That does add a fair bit of defensive capabilities to zSWY. Being able to have Meteor, the Cold Snap, the Wall, the Deafening Blast, Tornado, albeit at a short range, it adds a lot. Being able to quickly invoke and throw out all those spells will sort of put a damper on Rest's pushes.
It certainly will. It looks like Rest are kind of aiming to take down this Roshan, but they get scouted out by the Wolves. zSWY know the Roshan's up now as well, but I don't think they can take a fight here. It's just too far out of their base. If Tinker comes through, he can just blink all around the pit, right-clicking them down, and it's going to be really dangerous for them. Or, if they do decide to go in, Tinker can just TP to another lane and start pushing it out. So, Rest has started up on this Roshan. Lycan has picked up a Necro too. He's just one more level off that True Sight. We're going to have the Wolves walk in right now, getting slammed by Roshan, and Miguel's just starting to layer up this March of the Machines if they do decide to go in on the pit. An attempted snipe there maybe with the Sunstrike, but the kill going to the Radiant, and Miguel's just trying to kill off these Forge Spirits. They're annoying him.
The Rest actually lucked out a fair bit there and were able to get an unchallenged Roshan. The Lycan's Wolves that were scouting them out, they timed out maybe 2 seconds before Rest ran into the Roshan pit to start taking it on. So they had to wait for the Lycan to resummon the Wolves and send it into the Roshan pit again, and by the time they got vision, Rest had already 3/4 killed Roshan, and there was no way that zSWY were going to be able to challenge it after that.
Yeah, exactly. Rest just basically playing this game perfectly to a T. If we look at the experience, they're almost 20,000 ahead. The gold also about 22k ahead. Because of this Tinker, they just have so much map presence. They're basically able to free farm a lane, and it looks like with this Aegis, they're looking to take down this top tower. Moss eats an arrow on the backline. Tinker comes forward and just kills him off. Hugner, down he goes. Wygod coming through with a stun. But a double force and a leap means Mirana is well out of the way, and Tinker is just going to TP back in here. But the Acid Spray does take off his Blink Dagger. It's kind of annoying for Miguel's in that regard. He needs to stand quite a bit of the way back before he can actually go in. But right now, he's just spamming out rockets. God coming forward with a stun, but he's coming out very, very far. He might stun himself in another 5 seconds. He has, but the Visage Familiar is not going in. In fact, one goes down, and Miguel's blinks forward and kills the Alchemist.
Dire's top tower
Straight on top. The zSWY need this Pugna to defend. They're just... Without the Pugna ward, without that constant threat to the Tinker and all the other heroes, Tinker just jumping straight in.
Getting another kill. He's getting a double kill after grabbing a kill, healing in base, coming back and grabbing a kill. So we've got Evil Twig on a killing spree as well. The good game gets called by zSWY after 33 minutes. That's a triple kill for Miguel's. And for some reason the double kill stuck there on my screen, but an excellent game by Rest, taking out this game against zSWY. The final experience, 27k in their favor, as well as the gold. Definite MVP there was Miggles, just excellent Tinker play. 11, 1, and 5 in that game.
That was a really fantastic game to watch. Despite the one-sidedness, it was really almost pleasurable watching the Rest really execute those things. zSWY, they did say at the start that this was their first tournament, so absolute props to them going up against this team. They will have definitely learned a lot from this, so props to both the teams and congratulations to Rest.
Yeah, of course, this is a round-robin quarterfinals, so zSWY still have quite a few more games to play. I believe the top 4 teams, after all the round-robin matches have been played, will go into the semis, and the placement in the ladder will determine the seeding for those games. The finals will be played on the 14th. The games will be going on all throughout this week and the next. So I will be posting up a link to all of the brackets in the Twitch chat shortly. I've been the Spectre. Joining me is Project Swift of Dota is Hard, and this has been the AEL End of Year Tournament, sponsored by Esports Daily. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Yes, thank you all. It was fantastic. Thank you for inviting me, Spectre. It was great. Had a lot of fun.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.